Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
Welcome to another episode of the Rare Beer Club. I'm your host, Ginger Yeti, and if you're new to the channel, the Rare Beer Club is a subscription club put out by the beerofthemonthclub.com. I receive a box every month that contains 2 hand-selected beers. Cost about $60. I unbox them. I pick one to review blindly, and then I review the other one at another time. So we'll get the beers out of this box here, look at each beer, pick one to review, and hit the review blind. It always comes with this paperwork here. Spring inventory blowout. This box is from, I'm starting to get closer to new boxes. This box is from May of 2024. It's June of 2025. So hopefully these are beers that can be aged. And we got 2 beers here. And what do we have? I think I've had this before many times. I've already tell you which one I'm going to review. Soft-Serv, Bourbon Barrel Aged, Rare Beer Club exclusive. That's this one right here. It's an Imperial Porter aged in bourbon barrels with Madagascan vanilla beans and Ghanian coca nibs. And the other one is a beer that most people will probably recognize if you're a beer connoisseur at all. It's the AleSmith Brewing Company Speedway Stout. So this is from South Street Brewery in Charlottesville, Virginia. I got a friend that lives out that way. And this is the AleSmith Brewing Company from San Diego, California. It is the Speedway Stout. It's an Imperial Stout with coffee. I think most people know what this one is. I'll review this one at a later date. And we'll go with the Soft-Serv, because it's a hot evening here, and Soft-Serv sounds like ice cream. It's got a picture of the ice cream on it, so maybe that will be a better beer to drink in this heat. Look at the bottle here first. South Street Barrel Series. Enjoy by, I'm getting real close here. Enjoy by May 9th, 2025, so I'm only a month out of date. Bourbon Barrel Aged Soft-Serv. This is like a swirled ice cream cone. On the side of the bottle here, South Street Brewery since 1998. Soft-Serv, porter aged in bourbon barrels with lactose, vanilla beans, and coca nibs. Ingredients: Pilsner malt, mild ale malt, flaked oats, Cara 8 malt, Carafa Bezial 2 malt, lactose, Simcoe hops, Scottish ale yeast, Madagascan vanilla beans, Ghanian coca nibs. 9.5% alcohol, 750 ml, 1 pint, 9.4 fluid ounces, 27.23 degrees SRM. 27.23 degrees SRM. I've never seen the SRM listed like that. So I would put that down in the brownish color here. I mean, that's 27 right there. We'll see if I agree with that. 24.01 Plato OG, 20 IBUs, 8.09 degrees Plato final gravity. Crazy they have all that on the bottle. It's right there on the side. Hopefully I'll remember to take a picture of that, because that's really cool to have everything like that on the side. I mean, that's more than what I ever want on a beer. They've listed everything possible. I always complain about breweries not listing enough information about the beer, and they've nailed it on the head right there. So kudos to you. So like I said, this is South Street Brewery out of Charlottesville, Virginia. I've never heard of them. Soft-Serv Bourbon Barrel Aged Rare Beer Club exclusive. So you could probably not get this unless you go to the brewery or order it off the Rare Beer Club, and at this point it's probably out of production anyways. So the Rare Beer Club is pleased to feature one of our favorite breweries, South Street Brewery in Charlottesville, Virginia. This is probably the first beer I've ever had from this brewery. I don't know how it's one of their favorites if I've never had other beers from them, and I've been receiving the Rare Beer Club for years now. South Street Brewery holds an extensive tradition as Charlottesville's longest running brewery and pub, and they had new life breathed into the operation when the brewery was purchased in 2014 by Blue Mountain Brewery. Blue Mountain will likely be a more familiar name, as we've featured any number of their delicious barrel-aged beers over the years, and 2 of the brewery's founders, Mandy and Taylor Smack, had worked for South Street a decade earlier. with Taylor serving as brewer from 2001 to 2007. The owners are committed to revitalizing this downtown Charlottesville landmark, and their beer releases have just been getting better and better. Blue Mountain Brewery in Virginia has already made quite a name for itself with Virginia's craft beer scene, including bringing home 8 Great American Beer Festival medals since opening up in 2007. Many breweries would and do take the obvious route from there in terms of expansion. Invest in a production facility, focus on pumping out as much of their beer, as much of their best-selling offerings as possible, and settle in for long haul. With the operation in 2011 of their second location, Blue Mountain Barrel House, master brewer Taylor Smack and fellow partners gave a pretty clear indication that they are decidedly not like most breweries. Taylor's brewing experience extends back long before Blue Mountain's first location opened 17 years ago. As an enthusiast of world-class beer, you've likely heard of Bourbon County Stout from Chicago's Goose Island, one of the very first bourbon barrel aged beers in the U.S. It's still often considered one of the best examples out there. I don't know if it's one of the best examples out there, even long after everyone's jumped on the barrel aging bandwagon. For over a year, Taylor was the only person in the world producing that stout after he'd taken over brewing responsibilities at Goose Island during 2000-2001. Wow, that's very odd. That's a strange thing. So this guy basically ran Goose Island's bourbon barrel production for a couple years, back when they were about the only ones that were doing bourbon barrel aging of beers. That one-of-a-kind brewing experience has certainly informed the direction Blue Mountain and South Street Brewery have been taking with their barrel house projects. Blue Mountain Barrel House, overlooking 4,000-foot mountains along the border of the George Washington National Forest, incorporates a wide range of lessons learned over the years. The rural brew pub model at Blue Mountain's original location encouraged them to go off-grid with their water, drilling a well to ensure more consistent and pristine supplies than they'd likely get from conventional city water. So this beer here is the Bourbon Barrel Aged version of the Imperial Porter they make, called Soft-Serv. It's the Bourbon Barrel Aged version, and it's of one of Virginia's favorite beers, Soft-Serv, but aged in freshly emptied bourbon barrels with lactose, Madagascan vanilla beans, and Ghanian coca nibs. Bourbon Barrel Aged Soft-Serv is only available at the brewery, but this lot was brewed and packaged exclusively for the Rare Beer Club. So, South Street's Bourbon Barrel Soft-Serv is a bourbon barrel aged Imperial Porter coming in at 9.05% ABV. This Imperial Porter gets into pastry porter territory with rich vanilla and chocolate notes lifted by bourbon barrel aging, culminating in a standout beer worth savoring and sharing. The South Street Soft-Serv Barrel Aged Imperial Porter pours a deep opaque black, has a thick tan head, and drops lots of sticky lacing. So, let's pour the beer. It's got one of these cap and cork things here. Probably shoot the cork off. Put another hole in my ceiling. Hopefully not. It's another one of those composite corks coming out fairly easily. A lot of gun smoke. And it's not really creeping up the bottle there. So we'll get it into this little goblet here. And that is, I guess that is about a 27 on the SRM chart as you pour it. Although that's really hard to tell on camera because it's just looks black on camera, but that's kind of a brownish color. So generous aromatics of the bourbon barrels are lifted in the air as we swirled our glass and brought them to our noses. I'm not getting a whole lot out of this. Right away, we're treated to classic twist cone Soft-Serv we would get as kids at any number of drive-through burger joints across the country. My personal favorite in Southern California was Tasty Freeze, but with a grown-up twist. Getting deeper into the aromas, we get an individual elements of Madagascan vanilla beans, Ghanian coca nibs, with notes of dark caramel, toasted marshmallows, and hints of toasted coconut. I get nothing. There might be a slight, very slight hint of some char, but I'm not smelling anything. Before I move on further, it says serving temperature is 48 to 55. Suggested glassware is Tulip Nonic snifter goblet, so I'm about the right glassware. See what I'm at on temperature. I'm warm. Again, I'm warm. This has been in the fridge for 4 or 5 hours, And it's a hot evening up here in Cleveland, up in the studio. So it's been sitting in a cooler for a little while too. But this is much warmer than it's supposed to be. So I should be getting all kind of volatiles and aromatics. The more often we went back to the glass to take in aromas, the more we discovered, such as notes of toasted brown sugar, hints of dark molasses, milk chocolate. We even experienced dry, dark fruit aromas such as dates, raisins, and figs. I may be able to pick up some like dark coca. And this beer is only a month past its alleged best by date, although a 9% porter I would think would last much longer than that. I'm not picking up any of these scents at all. I'm not picking up hardly anything over this. This is almost like smelling water. There's just a hint of like cocoa powder, maybe a hint of char. But it's like I'm smelling water. So, on the palate, the South Street Soft-Serv has lots of pronounced deep coca nib flavor, very well complemented by vanilla bean. The nuanced bourbon barrel flavors mingle well with the coca and vanilla and add velvety caramel and toasted oak richness. Let's find out. Cheers, everybody. That is chocolatey. It's very chocolatey, a hint of vanilla, no bourbon barrel flavor. I don't get caramel. It's just kind of like dark coca nib, powdered chocolate kind of flavor. Rich dark malts bring in hints of charred bitterness, and paired with the great bittering qualities of Simcoe hops, this porter is well balanced and drinks very smoothly. It is smooth. The aforementioned bourbon presence never overwhelms the base beer, but allows all the components to make a lasting impression. It's smooth, it's chocolatey. There may be a hint of like bourbon vanilla kind of lingering on the back end. It's an exceptionally smooth porter, emphasizing a robust, toasty, and dark core and the impact of its time spent in bourbon barrels with coca nibs and vanilla beans. Moderate carbonation? No, I don't notice any carbonation. And aging and pairing notes. Soft-Serv is suitable for some modest aging, say 2 to 4 years. I got this last year. This is within 2 to 4 years, even though the bottle says, where did it go? Enjoy by May 9th, 25. I got this in 20. Did I say 24? Or is it 23? Am I a dummy? Yeah, I got it in 24. As I'm knocking over my 8th day sticker. In terms of pairing, core notes of cacao and vanilla have us looking to smoked pulled pork dishes or triple rich chocolate cake for dessert. I don't know if I'd pair this with a chocolate cake. But rich meat, pulled pork, that would be, yeah, I could do that. I don't get any of those characters on the nose whatsoever. This is chocolatey, a little bit of vanilla. No indication of the alcohol. No indication it's even bourbon barrel aged, unfortunately. And maybe it's a little old, I don't know. Paperwork says 2 to 4 years. This says it's a month out of date. It is a tasty beer. Even though I don't pick up all the stuff and descriptions they say in this paperwork, this is a really tasty beer. And for what I believe is my first beer from South Street Brewery, I'd give it a horns up. This is a tasty chocolatey beer. If you're looking for like a chocolatey porter kind of beer, this would be a good selection. Now, you probably can't get this anymore. Maybe they still have it at the brewery once in a while. But this is a tasty beer. This is good enough. I'd like to try more beers from South Street Brewery. I don't know if I'll ever make it to Charlottesville, Virginia. If I do, I would love to try some more beers from that brewery. These Rare Beer Club beers are always an adventure. And you know how I end it? I always say, embrace the adventure.